My name is Vanessa. I am currently working on my doctorates in clinical psychology. One of my main goals is to build my own practice as a mental health practitioner. I do want to help people navigate mental health, increase their wellness, and at Meridian, it gives me this chance to work towards my doctorate's degree while also learning a lot about myself in the process. So many reasons why I chose Meridian as my program. I could name the top three. One of the things that drew me to Meridian was their focus on the transformative journey in mental health. And for me, that's something new I wanted to navigate. I kind of wanted to move away from some of the more traditional, I guess you could say more DSM focused ways of looking at mental health. And I kind of wanted to look at a more spiritual, holistic, new way of navigating it. And Meridian just really fit into that for me. On top of that, during my admissions interview, I was interviewed by two of Meridian's faculty, and I just found the interview to be very different. They really focused on who I was as a person, what my goals are, and just things that have inspired me, things that I'm passionate about. And for me, that meant a lot more than asking about where I want to go professionally. They really let me kind of shine through my own personal self during the interview, and that just, for me, that really caught my eye. Third, I just think Meridian's platform is amazing. It's self-paced, it's online, but you do get a lot of support, a lot of contact with the faculty, with students, with your peers, and I just think it's very supportive, and that's what really drew me to Meridian in the end. I chose the Psy.D program because mental health has always been a very important focus for me. Growing up, especially in an Asian community, we don't address mental health a lot. And in addition, mental illness, things that have to do with psychology are seen as taboo in our culture. So for me growing up, I didn't get the support I needed. And I always thought mental health was scary, like addressing it was foreign. So as I kind of went to undergrad and grew up, I realized that it's really important to address these things, especially if you grew up in a culture that regarded it as taboo. So for me, getting my Psy.D degree is my own contribution to my community. I want to help other Vietnamese individuals, other Asians, other people from backgrounds where they didn't get that support growing up. And for me, applying that cultural lens is really important. So with this Psy.D, actually, I do want to build my own practice. I want to help people in my community and just kind of be that resource that I didn't have growing up. For my Psy.D, I have not chose a specific concentration yet, but what I am leaning towards is addressing both intergenerational trauma, very cultural, things that tie into mental health, and also kind of addressing sexuality, which is another thing that was pretty taboo in my culture growing up. As a Vietnamese American female, we were taught to suppress our sexuality, to not talk about it, not to date until we were older. So, for me, I learned about sex from television or from movies, and sometimes they don't give you the right representation of how a healthy love life should be. So for me, I really do want to focus on both sexuality, relationships, just navigating life as an individual that grew up without all the support, all the resources that they needed. Definitely something that I am studying at Meridian. I did take, I believe it was the human sexuality class, and it was pretty amazing. So yeah, I think it's something that I'm leaning towards for sure. I've been at Meridian for about a year now, and my overall experience has been amazing. I have never cried in front of any of my classmates before until I've been here, and this is a good cry. I think the faculty are so supportive. They're very, very attuned to, your needs and your interests. They know how to bring out things that you're afraid to admit at first. So for me, Meridian, it's been incredible. The peers are so supportive. Every time we have Zoom classes or the virtual intensives, it's just totally life-changing. I mean, for me, Meridian taught me a lot about myself. For me, it was a big step in kind of knowing who I am as a person and how I can bring this person into my professional career in the future. I love it. It's very different. I think, from my past experiences in school, I've never really spoke about my history or my trauma or my feelings as much as I've done at Meridian. And I think that's really what set it apart for me. It's a different experience, but it's one that I think really helped me grow both as a person and as a professional student. My experience of transformative learning has been a very educational, rocky, and just inspirational journey. So transformative learning is very different from any of the formats I've done in my past schools or programs. But for me, it has a lot to do with the capabilities and the capacities you can bring into your profession while also kind of understanding your own self as a person. I do believe after transformative learning and kind of learning about it, that you are the best practitioner, you are the best professional you can be when you're able to help yourself. And the transformative journey for me has been really about just unraveling a lot of the negativity I've learned in the past and addressing just my potential, my future, just things that I've always been afraid to look at before. So it's definitely been interesting. It's been mostly positive. And the only scary side to it really is just getting that courage and that capacity to look deeper, to look in the past. But of course, the faculty, the peers all support you. So it's not scary. You're not alone pretty much. And for me, that's been the most profound thing about the journey, is just knowing that I have so much support and so many people that are on this journey with me as well. My experience with the faculty at Meridian has been completely amazing. All of the faculty members are so supportive, so compassionate. They know how to hold a very safe space for you. For me, that's really important. I like going to a Zoom class and one of the faculty asking me like, "Oh, Vanessa, like how have you been? I remember last time you mentioned this and this." And for me, it's just that attention and that attention to our lives and our goals and our future that really makes me feel supported here at Meridian. What stands out to me about my fellow students definitely is that it seems like we're all pretty much on the same journey to achieving our professional goals, but also happiness. I feel like my fellow peers are my friends. It's so easy to engage with them, communicate, and just get the support I need without feeling like I am too scared to ask. The students at Meridian are so wonderful. We do definitely, I think all of us have this capacity to empathize, to show up for one another, and just to be very compassionate. You don't go to school competing with anyone here. I think everyone here helps each other, and we all pick each other up when we need. That's really what stands out for me about the other students here. I am taking courses standard, which I believe is full-time. And for me, Meridian's format and just all the flexibility and support you get really makes it possible. So I am working part-time, closer to full-time, and it still gives me a lot of time to log into my classes, attend the Zoom meetings, go to the virtual intensives. It's a lot of time, a lot of support that you get. So for me, it's not overwhelming. I actually really enjoy the format. I enjoy, the level of work we get. It's doable for me, and I like that. I have attended 2 virtual intensives so far, and my experience has been life-changing. The intensives are, I believe they're 8 hours a day for the whole week. So you show up each day and you see your classmates, and you're also put into groups where you kind of elaborate on the material more. For me, it's very, very heartfelt. It's very personal. It gets really deep in those sessions, and there's a lot of laughing, there's a lot of happy crying, there's a lot of revelations that are revealed, and it's different. I've never experienced this with any other school program, so I believe it's a necessity, because it really shows us that faculty want us to understand the material, but in addition, they want us to feel comfortable with one another, feel comfortable with what we're learning, and really dig deep into what it means for us. And for me, that's what the intensives have been about. After I complete my Meridian degree, I do want to eventually move on to becoming a mental health practitioner. I do want to get my sex ed degree as well, if that's still what I'm interested in. So for me, I want to be a psychologist and also a sex ed educator to help other people learn about mental health, about sexuality, and just opening up to things that when I grew up were really scary for me to address. I love being here. It's incredible. It's different. It's scary, but fun and supportive and life-changing. And so glad I came across Meridian because I was very hesitant on entering another program, especially right in the start of the pandemic. But my experience has been just profound. I'm glad I did it, and I'm still doing it.